I'm super proud of my team. I feel that all of them think like owners because they are owners of the company. The better the company does, the better each of them do individually, the more that they can advance within the company, both achieving personal success, personal fulfillment, and their compensation. I don't say this laughing. I know with every single bone in my body that sometime within the next 15 to 20 years we'll be $1 billion company just because that's our vision, because we want to create a company that will be able to one day employ 1,000+ individuals. That's 1,000+ roofs. Those employments can help support 1,000+ daughters and sons that get to go to college, 1,000+ people that get to retire financially stable one day.
Hello, hello, hello. Excited to have my buddy Camilo here today. Camilo is a construction business owner. He's done over $100 million of government contracting, and he's also a real estate investor. And we have a very similar story, and I'm super excited to even dig deeper into it with you here today. Camilo, welcome. So excited again to say, be here with you. I know you'd reached out to me and you're like, hey, Oliver, how's everything going? And I was like, yeah, everything's going great. And I'm glad we were able to, jump on this podcast and let's just catch up with each other. I know you're doing government contract. I know you're also in real estate, multifamily specifically as well. And I just wanted to just get the update. How's everything going?
Things are well. Obviously, 2023 has been a challenging year for a lot of people in a lot of different ways. Some things have gotten tougher for us. Some things we've seen a little bit of a break, but overall we still see a lot of opportunities moving forward in this market. So we're very excited.
Yeah. So you said a lot there in a little bit. So when you say things are 2023 is a challenge, or you said, did you say 2023 was brought some challenges? What were some of the challenges? Was it on the real estate side? Was it on the construction side? Was it executing the projects? Like what did that look like?
Yeah. So I'll start. But first, let me start by saying who we are and what we do.
Yeah.
So. We're a fully vertically integrated construction and real estate development company. I started the company 12 years ago. I was a civil engineering major at Florida State University, and 20-year-old me and my brother, we decided that we wanted to be developers. So we bought some land off campus, and we had this idea to build an apartment complex, a student housing, 16 bedrooms, 16 bathrooms. 2020, we walked into every bank in Tallahassee. Not a single banker was going to lend money for construction, much less to a 20-year-old and his 18-year-old brother. So what do? Bootstrapped and figure out a way how to build it ourselves. And that was the start of this company, which that very first project was our very first fully vertically integrated construction and real estate development. And so fast forward 10 years later, we've been able to do over $100 million in construction and or development projects. And our thesis has always been the same. We do construction for others and we reinvest all of our earnings either in ground up real estate developments or value add opportunities. We're not core or core plus operators. We really look for opportunistic or value add with either a rehab or an expansion component. So my comment that I shared earlier, with every market, there's some challenges and there's some opportunities. 2022, Q1, Q2, Q3, as hot as that market was, it was on the real estate side of things. It was challenging for us because all the operators in the country, from the standpoint of doing real estate acquisitions, sellers were getting multiple offers. People were placing offers for some ridiculous sub-4 cap rates in some in whatever asset class, whether it was multifamily, light industrial, self-storage. Everybody was offering below a 4 cap rate, and so we were left out. We were not even getting to play. On the construction side, it was also challenging because we had secured these contracts, whether it was private or federal, and cost of construction kept creeping up. And so we have a ceiling where we have a firm fixed price contract, liquidated damages, which, I know that we speak a very similar language. That's why I was so excited to catch up with you. And so cost escalations, a lot of them could not be passed through our customers. And so we're just getting sandwiched in the middle. Subcontractors, suppliers, everybody keeps going up. Our contract cost is here, and we're just getting the squeezed right here. And then come around 2023, you start to see starts in development lower some, which has led to a slow increase, a decrease in construction costs. Not tremendous, but just enough to have a little break where that subcontractor that wasn't able to or interested in pricing things all of a sudden is showing up to the job sites, and you're starting to see the labor pool. Superintendents are actually calling again, looking for a job, and then on the real estate side, as interest rates continue to rise, for us, the opportunity, a lot of those sellers that weren't as excited to play ball with us, now they're calling back again. It's like, hey, I know I rejected that offer from you guys, but I'm actually interested now. So what can we do? And so it has brought some opportunities to go to the negotiating table and bring some opportunities into fruition. So that was my comment, that some things have gotten tougher, some things have gotten better.
Yeah.
What about you guys?
You couldn't have said it better myself. I mean, wow. Everything you said was just so spot on. Yeah, coming out of 2020, we landed a bunch of projects, and we felt great in the moment. Like, you had all this work, and all of a sudden, some of it was design build, and that was basically the same thought that you had, was that all of a sudden we're in the design phase, which also took another year, and then we now are trying to execute on construction, and then costs were going out of this roof. I'd been doing this stuff for 10 years, and I'd never had any disagreement with a subcontractor. This is the first time I got to throw a subcontractor off the job, and the next thing you know, I'm trying to renegotiate the fence contract with somebody, and the prices are coming in crazy higher than they were. So I definitely can empathize with you in terms of costs going up, and you got to get in the middle, getting squeezed from that standpoint. It was great to hear that the real estate stuff. Yes, in 2022, people were making crazy offers on these deals, and now 2023, you're starting to see some of these opportunities start to present themselves. And then in 2024, I mean, this is going to be definitely another opportunity where a lot of those people that are sucking wind from 2023 are really going to be coming to the table. And I think there's going to be a lot of interesting deals that come around. What are your thoughts on that?
Absolutely. I mean, I see 2024 as a very exciting year, at least from our scope, the way we look at things. We're fortunate enough that we don't have a lot of debt on the real estate side. So I felt terrible for a lot of operators that accumulated massive portfolios in the sub 4s, sub 3 in some cases for in-place cap rates, and their business plan was assumed 10% rent growth year over year, and another 50 basis point cap rate compression. That's their 2-point spread, and we're going to make our business plan work. And fast forward, 2 years later, they're sitting down with a loan coming due. Their assets are not pricing to where they need to be, so they got to come up with another 30% capital call, and the asset is still not penciled into their underwriting. So it's a lot of people are having some very, very, very tough conversations right now, and so I foresee that a lot of people are going to be forced to trade their deals and sort of hand the keys to someone else and say, hey, you guys make it work, or they're going to give them to the banks, but the banks don't want to. I think a lot of banks learn, going back to the last great financial crisis, that it's better to get creative and figure out a way to exit a deal. Well, there's an interested party. So on that end, I think there's a lot of opportunities, and just from a straight out acquisition to a seller that has a lot of equity, that has held for 5+ years, where they're able to take a discount compared to 2020 and still have a great equity return. Maybe someone that is closer to retirement age, maybe they do not want to be an operator. Yes, interest rates are still high, but You can, maybe get some bridge financing, 12, 24-month business plan. And I think, no one has the crystal ball, but do I think that Feds will be more likely to lower interest rates sometime, next year? A lot of people are speculating, Q3, Q4. No one knows, but I know that today you can underwrite a deal going in with 7, 8, 9% interest rate. Chances are you should be able to refinance it sometime within the next 24, 36 months, and then have a business plan for us, because we're not an institutional operator. So we don't mess with Wall Street money. We're not big enough to work with with them. It's a blessing and a curse. The opportunity is that institutional capital is very impatient, and they only think in terms of 3 to 5 year windows. For us, when we look at an asset, we might only invest in one of every 100 deals that we look at, but that one deal that we acquire, it better be an absolute home run. And because we underwrite with a long-term hold vision, I think that you can absorb a lot of market adjustments when you can acquire a deal and have a business plan that's based on a 10-year window. So I think that there's going to be a lot of opportunities to acquire properties this year, if you can get to the table with some sellers.
Yeah, you said a lot of good gems there. Now, when you say you're buying your deals with, or you don't have a lot of debt on your real estate, are you what are you usually getting for like a loan to value on your deals?
It really all depends on that. Like right now, that's changing very, 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 very rapidly. But we were looking. So we have our own programmatic venture for an extended stay product. It's a hybrid between multifamily and extended stay hotels. It's called At Home Studio Living. We started acquiring land and entitling. And when we started, we were, at a 75-25, then 70-30, 65-35. And so that's one of the, deals that got challenging for us, where right now, what our focus is entitling land, selling it to other developers, and then 1031ing our land into other opportunities. We're basically building a land bank of properties for us. Currently, our portfolio is very small on the value-added space. Last deals that we had, we exited in 2020, 2021. 2021 is when we exited. So right now, we're more focused on land development and entitlement of properties.
Got it.
On both the residential side and mixed use and commercial.
Understood. And when you say the entitlement, that's like you're buying land and you're doing all of the legwork with the local municipalities and the counties to get the permits and all of that stuff approved, so that the builder can go in there and start building / putting in the road, like whatever it takes to build
That's correct. That's correct. That's actually our biggest strength. We've never been an operator of real estate. We asset manage our assets, but our strength is in acquiring existing deals that have a value-add expansion component, or rehab, or straight up ground-up development.
Got it. Yeah. So, and then when you say value add, that you're meaning that like you're going in, you're buying an existing like multifamily, or you're buying an existing like at home, mix between multifamily / hotel, long-term living, and you're going in there and renovating the units so that you can charge more and rent. Is that what you mean by that? Okay. Yeah.
That's correct.
Understood. Yeah, no, I love that. So I didn't realize that you did a lot of that, or moving towards more of the entitlement game. Is there a specific reason why, or you just like?
It's just because naturally that's always been our forte. I mean, dating to 12 years ago, the very first business venture that we had 12 years ago was acquire land and entitling it for student housing. So that's sort of that's been where our biggest strength is, and where most of our knowledge is. And again, we've played in some strictly value add from an operational stick, because there's value add is such a broad term. If you talk to someone that was doing value add in 2020, it was just acquire it, raise rents, flip it. I mean, that was value add in 2020, which is not sustainable. For us, when we say value add, it's really value add with an expansion component, where like right now we're looking at self-storage opportunities that we can acquire smaller size deals that are not appealing to institutional investors. But we can go in and buy a 30,000 square foot facility and add 20,000 square feet. We're also developing an industrial complex, 75 acres zone industrial. It's going to be done in multiple phases. And when it's all said and done, it's going to be about 700,000 net rentable square feet. This will be phased out over 10 years. So yeah.
Love it. I didn't realize that you guys did that. I love the expansion part of it all, because like now you're really locking in like the potential in the property versus, hoping that, you can go in there and renovate it and, you still be able to get those additional rents. That's really cool.
Yeah. I like that approach right now. I think you have to be flexible with sort of adjust to each market. And somebody might be hearing this and saying like, this guy's crazy. He doesn't know what he's talking about. But I think it's all based on everyone's own skill set, talents, and resources. For us, as a fully vertically integrated, it doesn't scare us to do entitlements and do construction. So when we can buy cash flow day one, the asset might not be appealing because it's too small, but we can buy cash flow day one. So it's a lot easier to finance than a ground up development deal today. And then we have the upside potential by creating value through new development. So for us, it is very appealing. It's not for everybody, but for us, it is.
No, I mean that 100% from a development standpoint. Like if you buy something without cash flow, you got an 800-pound gorilla on your back from day one, and you don't know how long that entitlement process is going to be. Now, do you do your own entitlements, or do you have someone in house that does it, or you hire an attorney, or like how are you doing those entitlements?
Yeah, no, it's a combination of all the above. We have supportive staff within our company that assist us with both the construction side of the business as well as the real estate side. And then every municipality is different. Every asset class is different. And then, typically cities and municipalities, depending on the size of the project, you have some projects that are only permitted at the staff level, where you really don't need an attorney. Just an engineer will suffice. And then you have some projects that require rezoning or public input, public hearing, working with the community, holding workshops. And then you definitely, you don't have to have an attorney, but you want to have an attorney, and you want to have a good local attorney that understands the lay of the ground, that understands the land development code. So you're not wasting 24 months worth of work and, $100,000 worth of design fees and legal fees to get nowhere.
Got it. So when you say your team, what does your team look like? Because we've been really digging in, looking to develop our team and build out our team so that we can handle the additional capacity and work and real estate and all of the things that and just overall construction business that we're executing on. So what does your team look like?
So have myself. I'm the visionary president of the company, and I really take that by heart. I spend majority, of my time in the vision of our company, our vision framework, our purpose, our vision, our mission, our values. Working with our team, our culture, building people up, and working outside the business, and really working on that 1 year, 5 year, 10-year plan. And then I have our COO, integrator. Then I have a director of construction operations. And then underneath him, we have project managers, then superintendents, quality control, safety, our support staff, comptroller, accounts payables, receivables, certified payroll, subcontracts manager. And then on the real estate side, have acquisitions, and then support staff that sort of it's quasi providing services for both the construction entity and the real estate entity.
Wow. Love
And then
it.
we have outside, partners or consultants that can assist us. I mean, it's whoever says that they do it in their own, it's lying. I mean, or they're just doing, maybe one very small thing, or they're just the smartest person in the world. Because I don't think how you can do this without leveraging partnerships with both team members, joint venture partners, and outside partners, whether it's consultants, subcontractors, or whatever.
Yeah. So, I mean, being 100% transparent, I mean, your organization seems like it's structured very similar to ours from a standpoint of like the construction side, where you got your project managers, you got your superintendents, QC managers, you got people that are doing subcontracts, certified payrolls, you got your finance team, you got estimating side. When you were saying that that you're mainly staying on the vision and the mission and the values, do you ever get sucked back into this stuff? Because I find that sometimes I'm getting sucked back into a project, or even just making sure things are just going in the right direction. And I'm just trying, asking someone who's right there, if not doing more than I'm doing, and just like how are you handling that?
No, I mean it's very painful, and like that's why guys like you and guys like me, sometimes we have 70, 80 hour work weeks. It just, it doesn't suck, but I am very, very proud of my team, who can handle their responsibilities way better than I can. And it's about building the confidence, and also about the fact that people are going to make mistakes. I mean, heck, I make mistakes. They're going to make mistakes. And sometimes it's just, you're not going to be able to control everything, right? There's going to be projects that are not going to achieve the return metrics that you want. And then there's going to be guys that are going to drop the ball with a customer. But as long as the team, and this is going to happen with every organization. Not every team owner, team individual is going to think like an owner. But you can get pretty close, and actually, you will see that I'm super proud of my team. I feel that all of them I think like owners, because they are owners of the company. The better the company does, the better each of them do individually. The more that they can advance within the company, both achieving personal success, personal fulfillment, and their compensation. And I tell all of them, like, the best gift you can be yourself is that you become so good that we can not longer afford you. So you can go on your own, or you can go work for whoever you want to. So yeah, I mean, I still get sucked into things that I shouldn't be a part of, and sometimes I get sucked into things that, by me getting involved, I'm just making things worse. A lot of the times, they're better off figuring out a way to just making the calls on their own, and figuring out and making the best decision and go with it. Because when you're doing, your time and your focus is working outside the business, and you get inside the business, but you're not there all the time, you're going to have a knee-jerk reaction, and you might not be making the best decision. But they're going to naturally look at you as a team leader to say, hey, I need you to make a decision here.
Yeah. No, I appreciate you digging into that a little bit deeper, because sometimes it feels more in the weeds than I would want to be. But it sounds like we got people on our team that are performing. We got people that are doing the things that they need to do. And then when you got to go in there and do tweaks here and there, like, it's just a part of the game. So it's just reassuring to hear you confirm that. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
So you deal with a lot of like similar clients to us. Like, you looks like you're doing with the Air Force, the Navy, the Army Corps. We've personally never done a lot of work with the Army Corps. How do you like working with the Army Corps?
Yeah, well, I mean, our Army Corps of Engineer is the largest general contractor in the world. I'm probably one of the oldest ones. So they're a massive, massive organization who's been responsible for some of the largest projects, in history, dating from the Panama Canal. And so just like any entity, especially working with government. It's not easy. As part of our continued growth strategy, we didn't start it on the federal sector. We grew first on the private sector, and we saw an opportunity to grow within the federal space. And our philosophy has always been to diversify. So we really are trying to get to the point where our federal exposure is no more than 30% of our revenue as we continue growing. And so from an individual standpoint, just like any federal agency, what I tell people is working with the federal government, you're almost running two separate companies. Expect that half the work is going to be paperwork and bureaucracy, and the other half is going to be construction. The construction is still just as important and as challenging as any project in the private sector, but the paperwork and the bureaucracy and understanding the rules and regulations are going to be that half the battle. I'll say, as with any other federal entity, is just about understanding the client's missions, their needs, how they operate, and making sure that you stick with your contractual obligations, communicate when issues arise, address them spot on, and head on, so you can kind of achieve the best outcome for both the client and the end user. And other than that, I think it's pretty similar than to working with Navy or Air Force.
Yes, sir.
Who do you guys do most of your work with?
So we do majority of our work with the Navy, NAFAC, and we do a lot of work with the Park Service, the Fish and Wildlife, the USDA. We like working with those guys. So it's really a wide range. A lot of it's definitely with the Navy. We hit a big MAC up here in DC. It's like one of those like 7-year contracts. They select 5 to 6 contracts. Yeah. So we hit that.
That's amazing.
Yeah, we hit that one. We've got a lot of work from that, and then we've been really going after a lot of those to drive a lot of new contracts. Is that what you guys go after too to get?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you try to go any other route, you can, but that's just short-term opportunities, as you know. But I think the goal on the federal space is you want to be able to get on this MAC, MATOC capacity. So you can have a pipeline for 5 to 10 years. Our challenge, which I would love to get some feedback, from you, is we're spending anywhere from $20,000 to $50,000 to go after some of these MAC projects, and then you're bidding against some huge guys, and sometimes it could be a joint venture of a very, very small business that's teamed up with one of the top 10 largest firms in the country. So how do we stack up against them when we're super proud of our past performance and the projects that we have achieved, but when there's a board selection committee looking at the proposals, and they want to see fire stations between $10 to $20 million, and we're super proud submitting a project that we did that was $5-6 million or $10 million bucks, and they look at them and they say and so you're out. I mean, we have some MACs that we submitted proposals on over 2.5 years ago, and we're still waiting to see if we can make it to phase 2. And it's not a guarantee that we do. And when we make it to phase 2, we're going to be on that pool with 10 other contractors. Yeah. So it's definitely a long-term gain, but I would love to get some input from you as to how you've been able to be successful in that arena, and what are some of the lessons learned and do's and don'ts.
Yeah, and that space is something that's new for us. I'll tell you, when we first started going after it, was the first job we did was there was like a MAC for the Navy up in Pennsylvania. It was that Chambersburg, Pennsylvania area. It was a $500 million MAC. And we put together our pricing, we put together our technicals, because we had a lot of good past performance from a technical standpoint. And they did their review process, and we didn't get on it, but they always allow you to go in and do that debriefing. So at that debriefing, we were able to get some feedback, and they were like, you guys were exceptional here, you were exceptional here, exceptional here, exceptional throughout the entire proposal, except for our price. Our price was way too high. So I was like, okay, there's something here. And we just now need to put a lot of time, energy, and focus into it. So that was when we hired someone specifically to go after these projects. And now they still worked with that sub-consultant that you were talking about, like, we're spending $20, $30, $40, $50,000 each one of these proposals. But, that sub-consultant provided like a great framework for us to even look at these proposals and be able to understand them. And after working with that person for, that sub-consultant for a year, 2 years, the person on our team that was working alongside them, like they were a student of the game. They were passionate about it. They wanted to learn. They absorbed all of that. So yes, we still work with that sub-consultant, but however, there's still a lot of projects that we'll bid internally because we now have that expertise, because that person was committed to that process. Now, in terms of going up against other people, I get it. It's really, we just got to put our best foot forward. And that was something strategic that we did this year, is like, we just didn't have a lot of projects above that $5 million mark. And to get on some of these other like bigger max that like have like a higher dollar threshold, they want to see a minimum job size of like that 5, or, sometimes it's like $10 million. So now, like, we were really intentional this last year with securing those projects so that we can get those successful past performances on them. Because we know, like, our big picture goal is to get like $3 billion worth of these multiple award construction contracts. And then we know that they're usually like 5-year contracts. So, you got to basically take 20% of that. So that's like 600 million that would come out each year, right? And then we're thinking that, there's usually like 5 contractors that get on into those projects. So then, there's another 20% if we do everything properly, right? And we're able to secure our portion of that work. So that's $120 million that potentially could come our way out of all that, out of that 600 million. And, our goal is to be $100 million company, so that we've kind of like reverse engineered it, which just brings me to my question for you. Was, you were saying you want to be at 30% for government contracts. Where would the other makeup be for like revenue if you're at 30% from the government side?
Private sector, commercial construction projects, and our own development, and the same thing with us. I mean, like I don't say this laughing. I know with every single bone in my body that sometime within the next 15 to 20 years, we'll be $1 billion company. Just because that's our vision, because we want to create a company that will be able to one day employ 1,000+ individuals. That's 1,000+ roofs. Those employments can help support 1,000+ daughters and sons that get to go to college, 1,000+ people that get to retire financially stable one day. So when you think like that, and you try to do everything right, and you try to be patient and walk away from exciting opportunities that maybe are not the right for you long term, I think it's not a matter of if, but a matter of when. And so I say that with absolute confidence, and I'm so excited, because I don't know when your goal to be $100 million is for you guys, but I'll venture to say that it's somewhere within the next 3 to 5 years, and that's our goal. Our goal as well. And we're very, very, very committed and very focused to be able to get there. And we have some very strategic and comfortable quarterly goals where our entire leadership team meets every quarter, reviews them. We have weekly meetings where it's specifically focused on this mission. So that I'm super excited to hear you guys say that.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to have this call, because I know we're definitely on the same wavelength. Sometimes I'll feel crazy, but like everything is crazy until it's done, right? So it's so good to hear see you actually doing it, because you're doing it in the real world, and then it's also great to just to reconfirm the stuff that we're doing, and the same things that I'm teaching to the team. Now, I love your thought process, and for me, it took a long time to develop this thought process that you're kind of talking about with mission, vision, values. You got your, you want to impact 1,000 or have 1,000 team members. Like our goal is to impact a million people's lives through quality construction and real estate. And all of those things are possible, like you were saying, through the commitment and the creativity that's going to follow that commitment. But where did you get your thought process about all of that stuff from? Because I know for me, I didn't initially start off that way. My dad actually, he always was of the thought process, and he basically ingrained it in me. He was like, kids, shut your mouth, make a lot of money, shut your mouth, and go to the bank. But it's hard to build a team, and it's hard to talk about your mission, vision, values if you're shutting your mouth and going to the bank. And then, so how did you get your thought process?
So I think it's a process, and I think if you and I talk, in 6 months from now or in a year from now, because dreams and goals are allowed to shift, right? But I think for me, it started, I'm originally from Colombia, and I grew up, in a very financially stable household, where financially I had everything. My family had everything we could ask for, and we lost everything we had. And so it was, a long story, but my uncle unfortunately was kidnapped. My dad, he was shot once, he survived. And between political turmoil and financial circumstances, when we came to this country, we had nothing. We came here with political asylum in 2005, and my family, we lived in a one-bedroom house. Then we moved to a trailer, and so we cleaned houses for a living. My brother and I picked up trash for vacation rental companies when we were in high school. I couldn't afford to drive, have a car until I was 18 years old. So this sort of awoken this fire inside of me, an entrepreneurial spirit. And I think for me, when you have this burning desire inside of you, but you have nothing to lose, it just gives you a different mindset. Like a lot of people are so afraid to go and try something, maybe because they have a stable job, or maybe because their parents gave them so much money and they're like, my God, I cannot lose this. I cannot lose this job that I have, or I cannot lose this money that my parents gave me, or my inheritance. But when you have nothing and you're like in the bottom of the barrel, there's nothing else but to dream. So for me, call it naive, call me, crazy, call me a daydreamer, but I've had nothing in my life than to dream. And if I want to dream, why not dream as big as I can? And so, my philosophy has always been, when you shoot for the moon, and you fail and you only get halfway there, you're going to end up in the stars. And that's a lot further away than the third floor of your house. So, that's like, if you and I sit down, and we're having this conversation, and you tell me, the year is 2035, and we're having this podcast, and you said, so are you at $1 billion? And I said, no, Oliver, we're at $200 million. I think I'm going to be pretty damn proud, right? So, for me, it's not a financial goal. It's we just have to have a goal that I can translate to my team. And for us, it's not, for me, my purpose is not monetary. I mean, our purpose, the reason what I do, my North Star, my purpose and the purpose of my company is we improve lives by turning dreams into reality. Our mission, our vision, this company, we are a place for like-minded individuals who share our values, believe in our company, and strive for our mission so that we can create and share prosperity within our partners, our families, our communities, and the generations to come. And our mission today is we're a fully vertically integrated construction and real estate development company that we can grow by building incredible relationships. So, in 30 years from now, we might be a tech company, but that purpose and that vision is still going to be the same. We're still going to be improving lives by turning dreams into reality, and we're still seeking to build incredible relationships and building a team of people that believe in this vision framework.
Yeah, you're saying it. You're saying all the right. You're saying it, and you can just tell you feel it as well. It's like, and that's what the same thing for us too. It's like, once you get to a certain level of success, it's for you to keep going. It has to be more than just about you. You know what I mean? There has to be a bigger impact, a bigger thing you want to enhance, and that's like, that's where the million people come in. Like right now, we currently have like 80 team members throughout all of our organizations, and when you think about the average family size of 3 people, it's like we're every day 240 people are living and dying by my decisions. And that keeps me on a straight and narrow. That gets me up in the morning. That makes me go to sleep at the right time at night, because I know there's a lot of people relying on Oliver's decisions, our team members' decisions, our finance guys' decisions, our project managers' decisions, our superintendent's decisions, because it all funnels back to the same thing. So that's so. I wanted to ask you again. How did you learn that thought process though? Like I know that you went through a lot of the struggle, and I know that like that dream and that vision and that fire is there. But did you have someone that gave you that framework for the mission, vision, values?
Yeah, absolutely. So for me, it started at, I've always had a 10-year plan, and I've always had this North Star, that I didn't know it was called purpose, but just did something that pulled me.
Yeah.
And about 3 years ago, I was in a search for that, and I was able to participate, which by the way, I'll refer you to, but I was able to participate in this amazing program at Stanford University, for business owners that are looking to scale their business in a transformative way. And the program was led by 2 of the most brilliant professors that they work with a lot of Fortune 500 companies, study them and other startups into what truly is a vision framework. And so that's where you hear me talking a lot. A lot of these, I was able to materialize a lot of these thoughts and abstract ideas and ideologies into my life, into something that was already designed by and so they were, I can say that the family at Stanford University was very instrumental, and the Elban community. So when we get off the phone, I will make an introduction so you can learn about it and check it out. But it was definitely a blessing in my life to have been a part of the executive program for business owners committed to scale their business.
Yeah, I can sense the clarity. I mean, it's like, so a lot of times, a lot of business owners don't do the work, the mental work that it, and you were saying you were searching, right? And, you're searching for the thing, and you found it, and that like helped create this clarity, and you could feel it. It's exciting to hear you talking through it, and being a part, and just watching you go through it. So that's awesome.
I'll say that's the biggest difference in our company today than 5 years ago. And so the when I say that I spend a lot of time with that vision is helping our team members see the way I see it, so we can all have traction and walk in the same direction. That I need them to understand that this is not about. It's not about another construction project or another real estate project, that this is so much bigger than all of us, and that we're creating something that hopefully will be multi-generational, that one of their kids one day will be able to run, and their grandkids, hopefully be a part of. It might not be named the same, but it might be the transition of something that we're starting now, right? We cannot control what it will look like in 20, 30, 40, 50, 100 years from now. But it will be pretty awesome to see if this vision and this purpose that we're so passionate about today can give an opportunity to this company in a few decades down the road.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sir, so what is, so we touched on it a little bit, but I want to just let's put the line right in the sand. What is your 5-year, 3-year, 5-year, 10-year plan for the organization?
Yeah, so we also, just like you guys, we want to be able to achieve $100 million of predictable construction revenue within the next 3 years. So our goal is December 31st, 2025, to finish the year with $100 million backlog that is predictable, that is healthy, and that is reoccurring. And by reoccurring, I mean having the right parameters in place so that we can actively bid, win, and secure construction opportunities. And the way we look at that, it's diversity between 30% federal, 30% private, and 30% projects that we generate through our own development opportunities. And then thereafter, continue growing at a healthy pace, so that within the next 10 to 15 years, we get to have a shot at being $1 billion company.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now, I love, so we've done projects for ourselves, but we haven't really, bid off into, doing $30 million of our own construction yet. You know what I mean? So like by far our biggest revenue generator is doing construction for the government. And what are you guys doing for construction for yourself right now? Like for your own projects?
Yeah, so right now we're entitling land, and we're creating value through entitlement land banks of development. So that's where that pipeline is critical for 2 years down the road, 3 years on the road, in being able to secure those opportunities. But right now we're entitling a 250 unit apartment complex that we will either have a choice at exiting to a developer, or figure out a way to develop it and build it ourselves. And then we have mixed use development, subdivisions, truck home development, townhome developments. So this is sort of the backlog of opportunities that we've been materializing for the last 5 years. That hopefully will have a chance at converting into construction opportunities for us, whether it's selling to a developer and teaming up with them and becoming the preferred builder, or us taking a stab at it ourselves.
Love it. And where is that project at, that apartment?
These are Panhandle, Northwest Florida projects. Our at-home studio project is in Nashville, MSA. Is a box wood frame construction, 48,000 square foot construction, very efficient, 119 keys. The total capitalization of those projects are about $15 million. Our team acquired the first site last year, and we're in the middle of finishing all permitting and entitlements. Of course, we're doing that in a partnership with other incredible partners that we have, and that's one of the situations that I shared early on. Right now, it's not the right time for us to go vertical on it, so we're sort of pumping the brakes. We're continuing through entitling, permitting, but we're not going to go out there and get recourse floating debt. It's just not going to happen. So we're considering whether we exit and sell that deal to another extended stay developer, or hold on until the market comes back.
Got it. Love it. And recourse means the bank's got you got your house, your office, your buildings, your kids, they got everything, and that floating rate debt, that means when you gotta, instead of it being like a fixed 4, 5, 6, 7%, it could be 7% today, and it could be 10%, next month, or 12% the following month, depending on what the interest rates are doing. So, yeah, this has been awesome. I love your thought process about, just we're just kindred spirits just from just being government contractors. And then once I realized that you're also in the real estate side, that's everything that we love here. Cause I even tell the team, right now we're our main customer and our client is the government. We're doing projects for them. But the end goal is for us to be buying our own buildings, for us to be developing our own stuff, for us to be renovating our own stuff. In the same way we're project managing it for the government, we're going to be asset managing it for ourselves. So you're already in that groove, and we've done it like $1 to $2 million, but we haven't really got that big project under our belt that's ours, and it's definitely going to be something here in the future. But I love your $100 million target. That's one of our targets as well. And that's why we're connected here, and however we can do something together. We share a very similar thought process and a framework, and I love to continue to develop our relationship. Like you were saying in your mission, vision, values, it's like building relationships. So it's one of the key things that you said there. That's what it's going to be. Is like building remarkable relationships with great people that we can all elevate together.
Absolutely. I mean, I see first of all, our purpose aligned because you guys, by you saying you guys want to touch the lives of 1 million people, that's improving lives by turning dreams into reality. So we definitely, align on that end. Our skill sets and companies are very complementary. So on the construction side, we can look at teaming up on going after either single projects together, or going after IDIQ capacity, where y'all's Rolodex of projects and past performance, it's complementary with ours, where we can also do a co-bonding program together, which most federal projects require it. So the summation of our balance sheets, sometimes that's saying 1 + 1 = 3. And then on the real estate side of things, just sharing deal flow. Hey, Oliver, we found this deal. Are you guys interested in teaming up on it, or vice versa? And so, yeah, I'm super excited to see what opportunities we can do together. And if just a phone call like, hey, man, I'm going through this right now. This is how I'm thinking about handling it. What will you do? And sometimes that is very helpful. Like sometimes we have the right answer, but we don't. We think that is not the right answer, so we're looking somewhere else. And then just hearing someone else talking might give us the confidence that we need to say, no, I'm in the right path. Or sometimes to say like, oh my God, like I am really just overshooting this, or I'm not seeing this right, or my ego is getting on the way. And then having someone else that has nothing to do with your problem be able to give you some feedback from the outside, that to me is the most valuable.
Yeah, no, that was a mic drop right there. Sometimes you have the answer,
Yeah.
and you keep searching because you think that's not the answer, and that's 100%. A lot of times, like when you get to a certain level, you can't just go back and ask, your mom or your dad, or if they haven't done that before, like, hey, what do you do here? You need to have someone that understands and can really see the playing field and really understand the decision and then the thought process that needs to go through that decision. So that's a mic drop right there. Love it.